Hi, and thanks for watching. In today's video, we're going to use Design Space to create your own box card. I'll also share the file in the comments section of the video. So let's get started. This is the cut file that I made earlier today for the box card. And in this tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to make this cut file. But first, I just want to show you the components of the cut file. The first component in purple is the box itself. So it's the 3D box with the two inserts, and that's where we're going to be adding our score lines and our cut lines. Next, you'll see 11 rectangles. These pieces are your overlays. So you could, just for your layering, they're different colors because there's different types of cardstock you can use. So you'll see that there's 4 colors here. One is to write the sentiment at the back or to stamp the sayings or who's it for. And then you'll see other colors, and that just represents different pattern paper or colors you want to use. And all right, so let's begin. So I'm just going to go to new. I'm going to save this. So I'm going to link both files that we created, the one that I already created this morning, and then the cut file that we're going to create right now. So what I did is I started with a square shape, and I always position my objects at the 1 inch by 1 inch, and this helps me with the measurements, so I could, it's just easier. So the width is 10.5 centimeters, and it's by 10.5 inches by 5 inches is the height. And we're going to start with our first, and before you do that, I lock it, and I start with the first image score line. So what I did here is I started with the horizontal score line. So what you do is go to your Edit tab and rotate it 90 degrees. Then when you rotate it 90 degrees, that's when I did the length. And the length here is 8. And the reason why I'm making it 8 centimeters is because the entire length of the entire width of the paper is 10.5 inches. Each tab will be 2.5 inches. Therefore, the score line is only going to be 8 because the first tab, I don't want it to have that crease in it because it's going to stand up straight. So we're just going to position this at 11.5 by 3 inches. And this is exactly where I want the score line because I want the tabs that will fold over to only be 2 inches, and then the base or the height will be 3 inches tall. So now I'm going to get my second score line, and I'm going to do the vertical score lines. So the vertical score lines need to be 3 inches, and we're going to position them right every 2.5 inches. So the first one, it will be positioned at 3.5 inches to connect with the existing horizontal score line. And then I'm going to copy that and then position it on the next 2.5. So that's it will be 6 inches by 3. And I couldn't get that right, so I'm just going to type it in here. The next, I'll position that at 8.5 by 3. It's probably quicker to just type it in. I'm just going to check that one as well. And then this is going to be your last score line that we're going to make. That's 11 and 3. So now I'm going to add another score line. But this score line is going to turn into a cut line. Um, so the height of this will be 2 because that's will start the cut line for the tab, and the tabs are only going to be 2 inches. But you're going to place them right on top of the vertical score lines to get a nice line for your box. I'm going to duplicate that, duplicate. And this one's going to sit at 6, sorry. And we have to make sure that these are perfectly in the right position because they're going to cut the paper. So we want to make sure the cuts are nice and even, and we don't cut in too much in the paper, or else it's not going to be tidy. The folds won't be tidy. So just one, and then the last one we're going to do, it's going to be at 11. All right, so now these are still score lines. So I just want to highlight them all, go to your layers, and just turn them into cut lines. Perfect. We're missing one more cut line, and I'm going to do that. This one's going to be an interesting one. It's only going to be 1 inch, actually 3/4 of an inch. And we're going to rotate it a little bit, and we're going to bring it up here. And we're creating the tab right now. Perfect. So the last thing you do on this is you group them and you attach. So that means when you run this through the Cricut, it's going to cut, score the rectangle, and that's what you want to happen. Now we have to create the 2 inserts. So once again, go to your shapes, and the insert has to at least cover the 2.5 inches, right? Because it's going to be the length, the width of your box. And we're going to create 2 fold lines, and they will be tabs so that you could adhere it inside the box. And it'll make more sense after we cut it, but you do need them, so I'm going to show you how to create it. We are going to create it'll be 3.5 inches wide, and it'll be approximately 2 inches is going to be the height. And then what we'll do is, like I said, I butt it up against the 1 inch. And we're going to create a score line for this. So the score line just has to be 2 inches. And it has to come at the 1.5 mark because we want to fold it 1/2 inch on each side. And let's do that here. Perfect. And what I do is I group them and then attach it. So we already made one. What you should do is lock this if you can, which it is, great. And you want to make 2 of them because there's going to be 2 inserts. So that is the base of your box. That's the hardest thing to do about the box. And we have that created, so that's great. The next thing we want to do is the 3 different shapes. So we're going to have, they're going to be different colors. So the first shape will make pink, and this will be the 6 rectangles that'll be 2.37 by 1.8, but 3 of them are going to be the same color. So what we're going to do is create 1.85. It's not, sorry. So you actually need 6 of these, but they're going to be in 2 different colors. So 3 in one color, 3 in the next. So what you have to do is just go to your layers and make 3. And then what I did was you have to make the tall panels. So on your tall panel, one is going to be white, and that is gonna, the width is always 2.37, but the height on the tall panel is 4.85. I didn't lock it. 4.85. And then you want to do 2. Green. And now we have to make the bottom. So these were the tall pieces of the box, right? One at the back where you write your sentiment, and then this is the insert, and we want that to go along the inside of the box. And now you have to make 3 panels around the box, and this is what will cover the 3 inches on the bottom. So the height on these 3 should, well, the width will be the same, 2.37, but the height is going to be 2.85. And you need, I have them the same color as the insert, the tallest insert, so the one in green, so I'm leaving it in green. So that's basically the cut file for your box card. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, call it video box card, and I'll share both files with you. So I'm going to go ahead, pick out my paper, and put this box together. So I've cut the pieces out from the cut file that we made earlier today. And the first thing that I do is I score the lines again, because sometimes the Cricut doesn't press that hard, or there's probably a setting that I could increase it. But what I'll do is I'll just score on those lines that we worked on, so it folds nicely. What I also like to do is use a corner punch, and that's to smooth out the edges. So you'll see in these ones I have a nice, they have a nice round edge, and it just softens up the box card. And I did the same here on the birthday card as well. So I'm just going to punch a quarter on my chomper. So now that this one's done, I'm going to prep the inserts as well, and I'm going to score them. So how we made these is they are 3.5 inches, and then I'll just score them at the 1/2 inch. The next one I'm going to do is lay my box flat. So you can see this is the outside of the box, and we begin to fold them, and it's going to look like this. So before I start to tape it together, what I like to do is put my sheets down, put my pieces of paper down. This one is the pattern paper that's going to go inside the tall
tall sides. So we are actually going to, this will be the last piece of paper we're going to adhere to the box after it's, we fold it and we tape it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my chomper and round the corners. If you want, like I did the corner edges just to match it, but since this is butting up against two straight edges, you didn't have to corner these. You could have just left them straight with a straight edge. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is use the blue. I'm going to turn the paper this way because it's easier for me to do that all the same. Off camera a bit because I wanted to make sure it's zoomed in. And you can see how I assemble the card. So it's starting to look nice. I like this retro paper. From a cool paper pack. I'll write it in the comments so you know which one I'm using. Hopefully it's still available at Michael's. I'm gonna put you could actually put this the last, but I'm just gonna put it on here because I know we're gonna write. All right. So then what you want to do is just put the final tabs. Okay, now I'm going to glue the edge, and I use score tape. Score tape is excellent. I think it's called score tape, if I'm using the right term. I'm going to put that down in there, peel it off, and it's very strong. You're just going to up against that. Here, and you've completed your box at this stage. The next step is you want to put your insert like so. So I'm just gonna put that in there. So your box is not completed because you still need to put the insides, the inserts, because that's how you adhere your flower. So we have to put those two layers in there. This is very tricky. So what I do is you have it folded like that with your tape, and you put them right against the edge like so. You can move it, that's like 3/4 of an inch that. Here's the first one. It gets a little tricky, but even if it's not straight, it's okay, because it's probably going to make your stuff look cool. You're going to have more dimension. We're putting in the other one, like so. Together, the box card. It is very easy, and I hope you enjoy the video. And what you could do is I'll show you after on another video on how I embellished it.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.